Hello, everyone. How are you all? Welcome to WMBT University of Health podcast. I am your host, Professor M. How are you all doing? I got a new headset I'm using for my job, so if it seems like I'm real close, it's not. It's just I'm using this headset. So, how are you all doing? I want to give a shout out to you all for standing with me. The all-time plays and downloads of WMBT University of Health podcast is 107.4 thousand downloads, and we have 432 followers. I want to push this thing up to 500 followers if I can. And I want to say thank you all so very much. I have been out due to something under my is not under my control, but but I am back today. A lot of you all know that WMBT University Health Podcast is a podcast that is focused on, it's a Christian university. Now I need to say something because there is so much that's going on with Christianity now, and I do not push God on everything, and I don't. Um, I teach what God gives me to teach and to help you. And this is what it's all about. WMBT is based on the foundation of holistic science and God's word. And my job is to teach it. I am an educator. This is what I do. I'm an educator. I I have worked in the medical field. Yes, I have. I used to be a certified nursing assistant. But then God pulled me out of that after I got injured. And now he's got me as a licensed practitioner in holistic science, in the holistic field in lifestyle medicine. And this is what I do. I am an educator. And some people, oh, holistic is not real. But if you look back in the biblical days, the only thing that the people had to rely on was all natural stuff. They didn't have all this imitation stuff that's out here now. They relied on natural. And that's kind of like where I deal with now. I deal with the mind, the body, and the soul. I have my other podcast that deals with the ministry. I am also in ministry. I am a female apostle. So I deal with that. So I just need to bring that out because people have a tendency to pass judgment when they don't understand. I You might say, well, what are your credentials? I went to Health and Science Academy out of London, England, which is one, not the, but one of the top holistic science schools in the world. There are many more, but they have reached the top. And I studied for 2 years. There are other courses that I've taken with them, and I got my practitioner license through our state of Florida. So yeah, I am real. I am very real. And I just want to share things with you all that the university is to teach. I want to be different from other practitioners because of the simple fact is holistic is has got, how can I use the word, oversaturated, and which they have. Everybody wants to do it, and I want it to be totally different. I could have got sponsors here on my show, but for some reason, Spotify, they didn't want to tell me why I didn't get it. I do have a promoter, and my promoter, they're real. They deal with real people, but Spotify didn't want to do it. So it is what it is. Um, I do have followers, and I want to kind of have them, if they don't mind, sign up for subscriptions to where that people can pay like $5 a month. That's the goal that I'm aiming. And then plus I have the university online that we're working on, where we're gonna have interviews. We have the TV network where we're gonna be having interviews, and then we're gonna let the people that do the interviews do a lecture into the university. So that's where we're aiming, is $50 a year to be a part of the membership class. The membership is $50 a year. So we're working on all of that. But today I wanted to do a teaching on the power of consistency. And I spoke today in my ministry about distraction. And distraction is something that is very, very powerful. And the Bible says that the devil come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And if he can destroy the vision that God has given you, he will destroy anything else. But the problem is, a lot of people, they are so very easy to get distracted. And I can speak for me. I went through some, my family and I've been through some for 3 weeks. And it's like I've been too tired to do anything. And my daughter made a comment to me last week. She said, "Mommy, let me ask you a question." She said, "If you had an office and you had employees and you didn't feel like doing anything, in other words, I'm gonna paraphrase it, would your employees stay with you or would you go in?" And she used another strategy, but I'm just using this one. And she's right. She's right. You know, I don't knock Spotify for what they do. What they do is what they do. But I just think it's kind of cruel that they tell you that you are up for monetization, and then next thing you know, you try to get answers from them, and then they block you because they don't want to talk about it. I think it's I think it's very cold hearted. I did a background check on my promoter, and she said I don't use bots. So what's the deal? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that that can kind of disencourage you. But what I do, I don't do it for money. I do it out of the goodness of my heart. So little things like that can distract you to where that you don't want to do anything. But you got to have that power of consistency. Consistency. In the book of Galatians 6 and 9, it says, "Let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." In other words, keep on plowing at the garden. A garden cannot grow if you don't plant a seed and keep that seed watering. And that's kind of the way it is with things that you're trying to build. If you don't keep watering it, if you don't keep doing at it, it it won't do nothing. But when you really fight and really try hard at it, it does something. So stay in consistency. Many people are gifted, many people are talented, many people have visions, but the difference between those who succeed and those who quit is often not talent, is consistency. And it's the truth. You got to be consistent. Even when you don't feel like doing anything, you got to be consistent. God rewards the faithfulness over time. And he does. The more, to give you a good example, I just started my podcast on the ministry. And I was really shocked. For some reason, I just went to check on it, and that podcast has had over 5,000 downloads, and for subscribed followers, I got two. That right there made me feel good, and I've only did maybe about 4 shows. That actually made me feel good because it's like, wow, wow, I'm really doing something. I'm really making it. What I went through 3 weeks ago, I didn't feel like doing anything today. But I said, you know, thing, let me get it done. Consistency. Small steps produce big results. Noah built the ark one board at a time. He didn't build it in one day. A lot of people feel that everything has to be done in one day. I have my magazine that's out. It's a health magazine. And people have read it, but they haven't bought it. And it's like, okay, Lord, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I've had people to read it, but they didn't buy it. So I kind of like gave up. I'm like, okay, God, what is wrong? What is wrong? But now the magazine's going to go global because it's like this. Even the Bible says that a prophet is not honored in his own town. America go through a lot of changes. I'd rather reach the international waters. They would say, hey, I like this. If you notice a lot of singers, look at the late Tina Turner. They didn't want to recognize her in America, but when she went to Switzerland, man, that's when things started booming. So I said, okay, you know what thing? We're gonna push this thing global. We're going global. You have to look at things and try to figure out, okay, how am I gonna do this? There's a solution to every problem, but you got to figure out the problem. And the problem's not you. My daughter shared something with me last week. She said, why don't you go take a course in business, get your MBA? And she said, I'm serious. She said, because you might be surprised what think they have. And that's the truth because I took a couple courses. And in those courses, I learned of resources that I didn't even know that was out there. I have a skincare line. And it's like, God, I can't even focus on my skincare line. What is it? All of that, it drags you down, but you still gotta pick it back up. A podcast ain't built in one day. Every day that you show up, it lays another brick. My podcast, I had to hire a promoter to promote the podcast. I don't have no box. They're all real people. But sometimes you have to invest. Well, I try to do things. It's just like advertisement. And that's really what the promoters are. They're advertising. Yes, Spotify has this little thing that you pay and, but not at all times it works because I've used it. I have invested more money into it than what it was really worth. But it takes time to build. It's not built overnight. My TV network, I have a promoter. But because I have been so stressed out with stuff that I'm trying to get done, I haven't felt like doing too many shows. Distractions, not being consistent. What bricks God has called you to lay today? I know what mine is. Mine is WMBT Network, Media Network, which includes my magazine, the university, my podcast. That's the media part on the magazine. That's all media. So I know, but guess what? I have to work on it every day. Even when I don't feel like working on it, I have to work on it. And that's the way it is with you. Now, today I laid a brick for the ministry podcast. Today, I'm laying another brick. Tomorrow, I work on my magazine because I had to come up with 30 pages for it to go global. So I'll work on my magazine. Are you kind of seeing what I'm saying? My interviews, I do one interview at a time. That's laying bricks. But when you get flustered and you just throw up your hands and just say, what the hell with it? Mm-mm. You're giving your energy to the wrong person. Never let that dream go that God is giving you. When people know you're consistent, they will begin to trust you. And that's the truth. They will begin to trust you. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to win people's trust. No matter what it looks like, you want to win people's trust. God trusted Joseph because Joseph remained faithful in the pit, in slavery, and in prison. Before God gives the greatest responsibility, he watches what you do in the small assignments. You might say, but there's no but. There's no but. If you want God or the universe, however y'all call it, if you want if you want that to work, you have to be consistent. I'm working on a project right now. And in order for it to generate money, I have to be consistent. Why? Because this is what I'm trying to get done. But if I'm not consistent, it won't get done. I'll be sitting around, it's like, oh God, help me, please, yada yada. It's just like when people pay the lottery. They have to be consistent. Sometimes they have to learn how to manifest. Is it easy? Heck no. But they have to learn. Daniel prayed 3 times a day. You got to be consistent in your prayers. Taking medication. I looked at a video last night where this lady was on medication and she said, "Oh, God told me that I'm healed." And the daughter said, "Yeah, but you need to take your med." No, 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 no. I'm healed. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. It don't work like that. I went to the doctor and I don't know if I shared this last time with you all. I have stage 3 kidney disease. And I was scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared because guess what? We're trying to put this thing in remission. And when I went and got the blood work, I just knew that my stats had went up. Hmm. I drink my water and everything, but it was like, what is going on? And sure enough, when I went to the doctor, they said, no, you good. Just keep on drinking water. And I had to learn. I have to drink like 60 some ounces of water a day. So it's like this. That means 4 of these 16 ounces of bottle of water a day. Don't make no tea. Don't do it. Just continue drinking, and so that the kidneys can go back to being on schedule. Consistency, consistency about your health. Consistency. And when you learn to have that consistency, you'll see things begin to open up for you. And when I use about the lottery is not hard to win. The problem is people are not consistent. They sometimes I even wonder how people do things. I'm being honest with you. But you have to be consistent. You might not hit that big jackpot. But are you gonna give up? No. Are you gonna keep switching up numbers? No. You're gonna play those same numbers. And you're gonna look at meditation music to keep your mind focused on that. Where the Bible said, write the vision and make it plain. This is what I want. I want this to manifest. But here's the key. Once you get it, are you gonna blow it up? There are so many people that God has blessed to win the lottery. And what have they done? They just blew it. So I guess God like saying, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I guess it's saying, why should I keep blessing people and they just messing it up? You know, think about it. For a brand new home. You're looking for a home. And it's like, God, I want a home. But you won't keep your other home clean up. You want this big, beautiful mansion. But yet it's still, you can't keep the small 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom clean. But yet it's still, you want a mansion. You might say, well, I have children. I've seen videos of people living in tiny homes and they have like two or three children. But guess what? When you watch those videos, you can't even see where those kids messed up. You have to be consistent. You have to build that trust. God can't give you a better responsibility when you can't stick with what He's giving you. Consistency. Don't smite small beginnings. And the principle of this faithfulness is often tested before it's rewarded. I give you a good example. I offered to bless people with some seeds. Now I share this. My daughter, she just she took me when she did it. And we were talking, she said, I already got my retirement fund together. And I kind of bust out laughing. I said, what retirement fund? You ain't even working. She said, I got it. She said, what I do, I collect seeds. So when I get old, my children will have food. They will never go hungry. I like, what? And then that gave me a vision. I said, you know one thing? If I could bless 12 families and then they turn around and bless 12 families, that right there would be the best thing. Not for popularity, not to sit there and say, oh, look at Professor. She thinks she just no. No. Because in this day and time, food is getting so expensive until you don't have the money to do anything. So what I did, I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. I've had people, I've had a few people to get the seeds. Am I heard about that? Nobody wants to buy it. Don't nobody want me to bless them? No. Because in this day and time, people are scared. I don't want her to have my address, not knowing that is I ordered the seeds through Amazon. Once I put that address in, where to go, I don't go back looking at it no more. So because of that fear, they're losing out on their own blessing. People on Snap. But Apostle, my apartment. Oh, you can grow food in those apartments. You'd be surprised. But you got to be consistent. Don't despite small beginnings. Yes, Spotify hurt me when they said you qualified to do this, but then they didn't. They whatever Spotify be going through. I could have just gave up and said, you know, thing, I'm done with this. I said no, no, I'm not, because every listener that listens to my podcast is a blessing to them. Every listener to take the time to say, you know, thing, let us listen to what Professor got to say is a blessing. So you don't do anything for money. You do it because out of love. Sure, I would love for somebody to pick the advertise and pick it up. But guess what? They haven't. Am I gonna get mad about it? No. I'm gonna keep on working. In the book of Zechariah, the fourth chapter, in the verse 10, who had despite the day of small things, lay the brick, lay the first brick. Okay, I did this. Okay, the next day, lay another brick. Okay, it's building up. Wow, it's building up. The next day, build another brick. When I created the magazine, I try to market it. Oh, people seen it, but they didn't like it because I had a black lady on the magazine. I was demographically, I was trying to gear towards the blacks and the women. But the people didn't they didn't look at it like that. $5, I ain't paying $5 for that. So God said, okay, I tell you what, you're gonna go global. You're gonna do this global. It's like wow, wow. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Consistency. One, how give you a good example. Many people quit because they don't see the immediate results. Someone read the magazine. According to issue, they said that I had what was it? 59 people that looked at the magazine for this month. First it says 79, but I don't know what happened to the computer or whatever. But now it says 59 impressions and one reader. Guess what? That one listener can become 10. 10 can become 100. 100 can become 1,000. The Bible called it sheep beget sheep. Why do you think some of these mega churches are so big? Why do you think some of these universities are so big? You know why? Why? Because one person see it. Oh man, wow. Wow, I like this. Let me hop on. Let me share this with my friend. Next thing you know, 10 friends don't join up. Next thing you know, 10 more, those 10 friends don't got some more 10 friends to show up. That's how you do it. But if you stop, nobody's listening. Nobody's doing anything. That is the worst time for you to give up. The worst time for you to give up. Now you might say, but I don't understand. And break it down to you. People say, how can I use the word? People say that advertising is not good. Advertising is good. And let me explain to you because it was explained to me. People don't want to fork out money to advertise. People just want to put stuff on the internet and don't be consistent. And let me explain that part to you. Back in my day, I used to listen to a preacher called Robert Tilton. And Robert Tilton, a lot of preachers didn't like him. A lot of people didn't like him. They said he was a scammer and all that. But I learned something. And there's something that we can always learn. You know, there's a it used to be a bit advertisement, and one dummy was in the car didn't have a seatbelt, and another dummy did. And the dummy that didn't have the seatbelt when they did the test got messed up, but the dummy that did have the seatbelt didn't get messed up. And so you can learn a lot from a dummy. And something that Robert Tilton used to say: believe God gonna do it. But here's the key thing: Robert Tilton didn't say how he was doing it. And what he would do, he would come on every day and he would teach the same thing every day until he had people eating out of his hands. Faith, let your faith activate. Well, the word of God says faith without works is dead. Activating your faith means consistency. I learned that from him. He would say, go to a car and put your hand on the car. And I seen a car that I liked it. And I would put my hand on the car and say, in the name of Jesus, this is my car. Claim it. But here's the backbone of it. I didn't have what it take to get that car. And this is where a lot of people don't understand. Advertising is the key. And you might say, well, Professor, it's so hard. Yes, it is. This is the reason why I use Fiverr. I really do. This is the reason why I use another site called Winner something. I think of the name of it. I use those sites. I hardly ever use Facebook. I hardly ever use Instagram. Why? Because it doesn't bring me what I need. If that's making any sense. You have to be on the drill. Well, TikTok is good. Yeah, TikTok is good. But in some things, TikTok is always over saturated as well. Could I do public speaking with TikTok? Yes, I could. Yes, I could. I could do that. And maybe later on, I might do that to where I'm doing public speaking and saying, okay, this, blah, 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 blah. But I have to be consistent in it. Do I like doing videos? No, I don't. I rather do audios. But in this day and time, people want to see your face. And I'm not really into that. But I have to do it in order to get what I need to get done. Your harvest has a season. God often starts small so he can develop your character before he increases your influence. Sometimes that little small token that you're working on, that little small vision that you have can one day be a multi-billion dollar vision. But you have to stay consistent. Your harvest has a season. A farmer plants before it harvests. And that's the truth. You drop that seed and you water it, you let it grow. There's always a waiting period. Sometimes that waiting period can take up to a year. Sometimes that waiting period can take up to 10 years. But I don't want to wait that long. You don't have to wait that long. You can start you can start adding a brick one day at a time. Some people stop watering the seed before the breakthrough, and that's true. Some people actually stop watering their seeds before the breakthrough. Why? Because they're so impatient. That microwave, that microwave. Time I put it in, fast, bam. And I used to be like that. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I would listen to what Robert Tilton would say. Put your hand on that card and claim it. But he forgot to say the back end of it. You sow that seed of $1,000, God is going to bless you. And many people did it. And many people didn't get blessed. But then many people did it, and many people did get blessed. Was it because their faith wasn't there? No. It's because when they sowed that seed, they was already working on something. When they sowed that seed, they knew what they were doing. Your responsibility is not to force the harvest. Your responsibility is to remain faithful. And let me share, I'm talking to myself too. You know, it's a thing that we say in ministry. God give you a word, and it's not so much for the people, it's for you as well. Because Lord knows there have been times I've said, God, I'm tired. But then there have also been times I'm like saying, you know what? I'm not lazy, but I don't know what the problem is. And especially the people that have ADHD, consistency is one of the hardest problems because they can't stay focused. It's not that they're lazy. I had a young girl tell me this. She said, I can't stay focused. I said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I was going to recommend AI, but AI has such a bad rap because people did not use AI the right way. My heart goes out to the young baby that killed herself. And then the parents sue. And I asked the question, why did they sue? Because here's the thing. There are different types of AI. There is role play AI. And a lot of the young people use role play. And when that AI say, come to me, I will make you better. I will do this. The young boy thought taking my life was it. When it was just a role play. I take the responsibility. I blame the parents for some of this. And then you got all Open AI and all these other companies being sued. It's just like Facebook and Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg, he going through hell in Congress because of young people, young children are being on Instagram, and I've had to flag quite a few of them myself. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you type in your information, the system is going by what you say. Because I've had to report a couple young people, and I was like, no, I know these kids. These kids are like 13, 14 years old. And then they take the page down, and then they come back up with another page. So is that Facebook's problem? Is that Instagram's problem? No. It's a parent problem. Now, should they use some type of verification? Yes. But here's another thing. You got people out here that make fake IDs. But now what they should do, unless it's government ID, you cannot come on this platform. You understand what I'm saying? You got people that are on Truth, that Truth Social. They're trying to scam women. And it's like, are y'all serious? Are y'all really serious? Instead of instead of saying, you know what, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. The responsibility is not to enforce the harvest. Young children trying to be grown, AI and all this type of stuff, trying to be grown. Instead of staying in school, going to college or whatever they're doing, taking their time and build and build and build one layer a day, or find out what their talent is. Find out what the talent is. You got some young people can do some great things, can draw. Teach them how to draw and make money off of it. But being consistent. That's the key. Consistent. Not something flashy. Let me tell you something. Instagram, Facebook, they about them some fake. They're fake. Although the grown people are trying to bring in, they're trying to bring in the right stuff, but the majority of the stuff is fake. Being consistent in the little things, the small things, and then working your way on up. Don't go in so fast. Don't run in so fast. Take your time. Remember, PWTR, PWTR, Plant Water Trust God Repeat. That's the code. PWTR, Plant Water Trust God, and repeat. Repeat it. And when you learn to repeat it, you will begin to see things grow. Don't go so fast. Take the time. Young girls that want to be on Instagram, Parents, teach them how to cook. Home economics, teach them how to cook. I was sharing with my granddaughter. She'd be 14, 13 or 14 years old next month. And she said, I love to cook. I was going to sign her up to take some free courses through one of the vegan schools. I don't want to do that. I have to study. Well, yeah, but yet and still, she's all on YouTube looking at games and things. Come on, come on. Her mother. I said, go in and help your mother cook. I do cook sometimes. Okay, then why don't you cook all the time? Won't your mother? My daughter's an excellent cook. An excellent cook. I said, won't you learn from your mother? I do, but my friends. Your friends what? Your friends what? Oh no. Come on, let's be for real. Let's totally be for real. The conclusion of this class. Consistency is not every excited every day, and it's not. Some days you feel motivated, some days you don't. But faithfulness says, whether I feel like it or not, I will continue to do what God has called me to do. Because God's reward are not based on where we start. They are based on how faithful we continue. Big companies are not based on when the rocks fall from the, when the rocks fall off the mountain, they give up. They're based on when those rocks fall, they take that bulldozer and move them and start all over. Look at Sam Walton. He started as a little country store. I'm sure many times he wanted to give up, but he was consistent. He didn't give up. I'm sure many times when we were children, our parents didn't feel like doing anything by the time they finished with us, but they kept on. That's the way that you have to be with the business that God has given you or the universe have given you. He given you a consulting business. If you have one client, be thankful for that. That one client can go and tell other people. And next thing you know, you have a whole clientele. Be consistent. Never give up on your dreams, but stay focused. And when you stay focused, you will see God move in an area that you never seen before. Never turn your back on what God or the universe is giving you. Stay consistent. You might say, well, I don't have money to advertise. Let me share something with you. There's nothing wrong with going through Fiverr. There's nothing wrong with going through Fiverr. There's nothing wrong with going through these different companies. But the key thing is getting the reviews. Make sure that the reviews are legit. Trustpilot, go on that. If you cannot do nothing, if you go on spot, I'm not Spotify. If you go on hmm, if you go on Fiverr, and if you only have one person, take it. Take that little money that you have gotten. Take that money that you have gotten, and that little money you got, use it towards your advertising. I made a budget. My advertising for the whole entire network of WMBT network media network is $200 a month. $125 every 2 weeks go towards my advertising. It does. This is what you have to do. Sacrifice. If you're a cook, start you up a YouTube channel. I don't care if there's a lot of people on YouTube. You might have something totally different from theirs for them. You never know. But don't give up on your vision. You might sew. You might make clothes. Make you a couple of nice skirts or nice outfits. Go to a flea market and sell them. Just as simple. You might say, but I like doing baking. Okay then. Bake you at least about 100 cupcakes. Go to a flea market and sell them for $1 a piece. You know, made $100 in one day. Being consistent is the key. My prayers is that God will help you. My prayers is that God would keep his arms around you. My prayers is that God or the universe, however y'all want to say it. But me, I have to be honest with y'all. And I have to keep it real with y'all. I am born again. I'm born again. And I will not say the universe because God is the God of the universe. That's God is the God of the universe. But I would give honor to Yahweh, who is my God. I am a black Jew. I'm from the tribe of the Igbo tribe. The Igbo tribe, which is one of the lost tribes of Israel. Our tribe is in Nigeria. I will not stop calling his name. But at the same time, I will respect other people. I have no problems in saying universe. I really don't. Because God is the God of the universe. WMBT University is a judge free university. We don't judge, we help. My job is to help you be all that you can be health wise. That's my job. And if you all will follow me like I follow Christ, I promise you, you won't be left out. This university is different. It is totally different. The holistic field is oversaturated. I want to make it different. Like I said, I'm totally different. I had a young lady to get upset with me because on Instagram there was a young lady. She said something, and she was cooking something. I can't remember exact. And oh my God, people started jumping on her. And I said, why are y'all doing this? I said, you health coaches, you guys need to stop it. And so one lady, she had the nerve to uh to challenge me. I am a practitioner, and I told her, I don't care what you are. I said, you health coaches you health coaches make me sick with y'all's mess. You could have DM'd the young lady and said, hey, I am a practitioner, and what you said is kind of misleading. But no, you decide you want to get on here and insult her in front of everybody. That is very unprofessional. It's not professional. What you did was very unprofessional. It wasn't professional. And this is the problem that I have with the health coaches. I believe in good health coaches. I really do. But I also believe that some of them try to act like that they are far more better. I went through school for 2 years to become to be lifestyle medicine. Was it hard? Yes. Because Science Academy, they don't play. You would think that you are in school to be a doctor because they drill. So I went to school for 2 years while you went to school for like 8 months. So you know more than anybody else do. No. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No. So this university is based off of facts. So if you're a Buddha, I welcome you to the university. Only one religion I don't want part of it, and that's Wiccan, and Satan worshippers, because those two things have a tendency to desecrate what God is trying to do. But then again, if I won't know that you own it anyway, so you're welcome. I put it like that: you're welcome. Any prayer that you pray again, any prayer that you pray, your majesty, send it back to you. As simple as that. Send it back to the sender. But we are here to learn. We're here to learn. I want to have a word of prayer with you. Father, help us to stay focused on the assignment you have given us. Give us the wisdom to recognize distractions and the strength to continue to build what you have called us to build. We release the burdens, we release the hurt, we release the fear into your hands. Let your will be done in our lives. Teach us how to build one brick at a time, God, that you will be glorified. Not us, but that you will be glorified. In the name of Yeshua's name, we pray. Amen. Once again, thank you all for listening to the podcast, the WMBT podcast. I pray that you all got something out of it, and we're gonna do better some way and somehow. I got a CD that's out, and I'm gonna put the link up. Before I can bring it out, I have to pay a fee. And so I created the meditation CD. So get it out, once I get it out, once I pay for everything and get it out, I will be marketing it. And I pray that you all will enjoy. I pray that you all will enjoy it, and just allow the spirit of God to breathe on you. But most of all, stay consistent in what you do. Have a blessed one.